On the 24th day of June in the year 2025, the armed conflict between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the State of Israel officially de-escalated through a ceasefire agreement. In parallel with this development, a significant geopolitical shift unfolded in the region, marked by the delivery of air defense systems from the People's Republic of China to Iranian territory. This information was reported by Middle East Eye, citing several sources with direct knowledge of the defense dynamics and trade interactions between the two nations. This move reflects Iran's broader effort to rebuild its air defense posture following substantial damage inflicted by Israeli airstrikes during the course of the conflict. According to intelligence gathered from an official in the Arab region who chose to remain anonymous due to the sensitive nature of the information, it is understood that Iran acquired these air defense systems through a barter arrangement, exchanging its crude oil commodities. This indicates a reciprocal relationship between Tehran and Beijing that transcends mere economics, entering the realm of strategic military cooperation. Tehran appears acutely aware of the necessity to reconstruct its previously compromised air defense posture. This initiative takes place within a wider context of ongoing regional tensions and concerns over the potential resurgence of armed confrontation. As of now, no detailed information has been released concerning the exact number of surface-to-air missile batteries received by Iran from China. Nevertheless, what has been confirmed by the aforementioned Arab official is that the deliveries commenced following the conclusion of the 12-day conflict between Iran and Israel. The transaction was funded through shipments of crude oil by Iran, indirectly demonstrating the persistence of the country's oil exports despite being overshadowed by ongoing economic sanctions imposed by the United States. According to a report issued by the United States Energy Information Administration in May of this year, approximately 90% of Iran's crude oil and condensate exports are directed toward China. The East Asian power has, in recent years, established itself as Iran's principal trading partner, even under the weight of extensive sanctions imposed by Western nations. The oil is often transshipped covertly through third-party nations such as Malaysia, which act as logistical intermediaries to obscure the true origin of the crude. This illustrates how Iran, through calculated and creative trade strategies, continues to maintain vital revenue streams in support of key sectors such as national defense. Another Arab official remarked that the Iranians engage in creative trading practices, alluding to Tehran's ingenuity and adaptability in circumventing global economic restrictions. Meanwhile, these developments are further complicated by the scheduled meeting between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and United States President Donald Trump, during which the two leaders are expected to deliberate on Iran, including its nuclear program. The timing of this meeting adds an additional layer of diplomatic and military sensitivity to the trilateral relations between Iran, China, and the United States. The delivery of missile defense systems also signifies the deepening of strategic ties between Beijing and Iran, an alignment that appears to be strengthening even as Western observers note that both China and Russia seem to adopt a cautious stance toward Iran during the conflict. Nevertheless, Iran's military buildup is unfolding against the backdrop of Israel's recent success in achieving air superiority throughout the confrontation, demonstrated through targeted strikes on missile launch sites and the assassination of several senior officers and nuclear scientists within the Iranian establishment. Despite these losses, Iran was not completely incapacitated. The Iranian armed forces retained their tactical and strategic footing, responding with retaliatory ballistic missile strikes that successfully impacted key facilities in Tel Aviv and Haifa. This underscores the reality that, although Iran sustained notable setbacks, its offensive capabilities remained intact, sufficient to project deterrence and impose costs on adversaries within the region. Historically, Iran's military cooperation with China dates back to the late 1980s, during which Iran acquired HY-2 Silkworm cruise missiles through an intermediary arrangement involving North Korea. These missiles were utilized during the Iran-Iraq War and even deployed against Kuwaiti targets and United States-flagged oil tankers in what became known as the Tanker War. This historical context affirms that the Iran-China defense partnership is not a recent phenomena, but rather a decades-long collaboration with increasing strategic relevance. Further developments emerged in the year 2010, when multiple reports suggested that Iran had taken delivery of the HQ-9 anti-aircraft missile system from China. To date, Iran is believed to operate an integrated air defense network consisting of advanced systems including the Russian-made S-300, known for its capacity to neutralize threats from fighter aircraft and unmanned aerial vehicles. Moreover, the system is capable of intercepting both cruise and ballistic missiles. Iran has also invested heavily in domestically developed systems such as the Hordad series and the Bavar 373 platform. However, these indigenous systems are still considered limited in their ability to engage fifth-generation stealth aircraft such as the F-35, operated by Israeli forces and manufactured by the United States. China has additionally exported its HQ-9 and HQ-16 air defense systems to Pakistan. Even Egypt is reported to have acquired the HQ-9 as part of its broader efforts to diversify its military hardware portfolio. This trend reflects growing international acceptance of Chinese-manufactured defense systems, particularly among nations facing geopolitical pressure or seeking alternatives to NATO-aligned military suppliers. Iran's strategic move to enhance its air defense capabilities through the acquisition of systems from the People's Republic of China represents a calculated response to the evolving nature of modern conflict, in which air superiority plays a decisive role in determining battlefield outcomes. The bitter experience Iran endured during its latest confrontation with Israel demonstrated how lagging in air defense capabilities can lead to devastating consequences, including vulnerability to precision strikes targeting vital infrastructure, strategic research facilities, and highly qualified military personnel. Among the systems reportedly involved in this latest procurement is the HQ-9 air defense system. Developed by China, the HQ-9 is based on the operational principles of the Russian-made S-300 system, but has been modified and enhanced to suit the Chinese military's specific operational requirements. The HQ-9 is capable of detecting, tracking, and destroying aerial targets at medium to long ranges. It employs phased-array radar and missiles guided by inertial navigation systems, updated with ground-based radar data and active seekers in the terminal phase. For Iran, the acquisition of this system provides an additional layer of protection against potential aerial assaults from fifth-generation fighter jets and cruise missiles. In addition to the HQ-9, the HQ-16 system was also cited in reports as part of China's defense export portfolio. Designed for medium-range defense, the HQ-16 utilizes vertical launchers and multifunctional radar, making it well-suited to fill the operational gap between short-range systems such as the Tor M1 and long-range platforms like the S-300 or HQ-9. If deployed by Iran, this would enable the Islamic Republic to establish a layered air defense architecture, an approach proven effective in countering multidimensional threats, such as simultaneous attacks from combat aircraft, drones, and ballistic missiles. It is important to note that this acquisition carries not only military significance, but also far-reaching diplomatic implications. The defense relationship between Iran and China appears to be strengthening, with Beijing seemingly willing to accept the geopolitical risk of deepening its cooperation with Tehran, even at the expense of provoking new tensions with Western nations. In a context where Iran continues to face economic and diplomatic isolation, China's role as a supplier of advanced military technology represents a highly valuable strategic asset. At the operational level, Iran's capacity to operate and maintain a diverse inventory of systems from various international sources illustrates a relatively high level of military integration. At present, Iran operates Russian-made platforms such as the S-300, domestic systems such as the Bavar 373, and now Chinese-made systems like the HQ-9. The ability to harmonize these different platforms under a unified doctrine and compatible operational command reflects Iran's growing technical sophistication in integrating C1 through C4I capabilities, command, control, communications, computers, and intelligence. Beyond the technical and operational realms, the symbolic value of this weapons transfer should not be underestimated. It implicitly constitutes a declaration of strategic trust between Beijing and Tehran. In many cases, the export of high-end defense systems like the HQ-9 is not driven solely by commercial considerations, but rather by top-level political calculations within the leadership structure of the exporting nation. In other words, by approving the shipment of such systems to Iran, China is signaling a clearer and more assertive political posture in the Middle East, a region long dominated by American influence and its allied networks. Furthermore, Iran's strategy to expand military cooperation with China forms part of a broader effort to reduce reliance on Russian military technology, while also anticipating possible supply constraints from Moscow due to the ongoing war in Ukraine and international pressure on Russia's defense industry.
By opening a new procurement channel with Beijing, Iran not only diversifies its access to advanced military technologies, but also benefits from potentially more flexible financing schemes, including barter arrangements involving strategic commodities like crude oil. This development carries significant implications for the broader security architecture of the Middle East. Regional powers such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Israel are likely to respond to Iran's growing air defense capabilities with countermeasures, whether by procuring new systems, increasing interoperability with United States defense networks, or deepening technological partnerships with countries like France and the United Kingdom. In essence, what appears to be a singular procurement decision by Iran could serve as a new catalyst in the region's already intense race for military technological superiority. This situation also reinforces Iran's emergence as a more self-assured actor in shaping its national defense architecture, one that is less dependent on any single great power. Tehran's multipolar approach, which includes strategic ties with Moscow, Beijing, and a robust domestic defense industry, enables the country to preserve strategic autonomy amid persistent international pressure. This is evident in the continued progress of Iran's domestic programs for ballistic missile development, combat drones, and advanced radar systems, positioning Iran as a leading player in the domain of asymmetric defense within the region.